Hi friends, welcome back to my kitchen. Welcome if you are new. I'm Cheryl, this is Table Full of Joy. And I'm excited about today's video mainly because my husband is going on a fishing trip tomorrow morning, his first ever charter fishing trip. The guys from our church are going on a 5-hour charter fishing trip over on the Oregon coast. There's about 20 guys that are going together, so that's exciting for him. I volunteered to make them some scones and some cinnamon rolls for them to take in the church van on the way over. They have about a 3.5-hour drive from where we live to Depot Bay, where they're going to catch the charter bus or the charter boat, and they will be out on the ocean for 5 hours fishing and crabbing and doing all the things. And so I'm excited for all of them to go out and spend some time together and hopefully come back with some fish. That would be awesome. So we need to get these cinnamon rolls done. I need to get some scones made. My kitchen is a disaster. Don't look at it. We are leaving for camping on Thursday next week, and we haven't camped in probably 2 years, if not more. And so I am trying to get out all the things that go in the tent trailer. Tomorrow I'm popping it up. We are I'm getting it cleaned up. Hubby's going to be out fishing, but I'm going to get it cleaned up. I'm going to get it sorted through, get everything taken out of it, go through all the stuff that's in there, reorganize, and restock what we need to, because we're going for 6 days this time. This is the longest camping trip we've been on in a good couple of years. And so there's a lot of things to get done to do that. So tomorrow I will bring you guys along with me as we go through the tent trailer, show you how we set up our tent trailer, what we stock it with for our camping trips. And we have a lot going on over the next week. I've got a lot of meal prep to get done because when we camp, I like to do as much as I possibly can before we leave, because it's vacation and I don't want to spend all my time cooking and chopping and doing all the things. I want to be able to relax and spend some time with my friends. And so let's get these cinnamon rolls done. As you can tell, I'm still battling this cold. We need to get these done. These are super easy. This is a great recipe. It doesn't take a ton of time to do, which is super nice because I have a lot to get done today. So let's get these done real quick. I've got my mixer. I'm actually not following this recipe exactly the way that they wrote it. They do it by hand. I'm sorry, I don't have the energy to do it by hand, so I'm just going to do it in my mixer, allow my mixer to do the work for me, and it's going to be fine. So we're going to do 2 cups of flour to start. I've got 1.5 cups of water and 6 tablespoons of butter. I'm going to put this in the microwave for about 45 seconds just to heat the water. Our butter will not be completely melted, and that's totally fine. We've got 1/3 cup of sugar, and we need a teaspoon of salt. And I'm just using my favorite, my Redmond's real salt. That's the only salt I have in my house anymore. It's the best. So I'm going to turn this on and just let my dough hook kind of just blend the flour, the sugar, and that salt all together. This recipe takes 4.5 cups of flour total. I am excited to go camping, friends. I love to camp. We bought our tent trailer back in 2017, and from that point forward, we camped probably 10 to 15 times. Every single year, from spring to fall, we were camping somewhere on the Oregon coast, and I absolutely love it. I am super excited to get over there. So here's our 1.5 cups of water. It is just warm to the touch. It's not hot because we don't want to kill our yeast. We're going to go ahead and pour this water and butter in here. We're also going to put in 1 egg. And then we're going to start beating this or mixing this with our dough hook. And it's going to be kind of a shaggy type dough to start off with. And we're going to start adding a cup of flour at a time until we get this to a nice soft dough, which is what we want. But I want to get this part mixed in first before I add the rest of our flour. Okay, we have a beautiful dough. This dough is just beautiful, so soft. We're going to let this rest for 10 minutes, and then we're going to come back and we're going to roll these cinnamon rolls out. We're going to put our filling in them, and we're going to get them cut, and they're going to go in a pan, and they're going to sit and rest and rise and get all nice and beautiful and bubbly, and then we'll bake them. All right, friends, our dough has been resting for 10 minutes. This is a beautiful dough, friends. It's absolutely beautiful. So one little thing I want to tell you real quick. I had a camera glitch. It did not show me adding the yeast, but you add the yeast with your flour, sugar, and salt. That all goes in the flour, the first addition of flour. You mix it together, and then you add everything else from there. I'll leave the recipe in the description box for you guys so you guys know exactly what to do. But let's get this rolled out so we can get our filling put in it because these need to go rise. All right, so I'm gonna put a little bit of flour down on my board. We don't want our dough to stick. So we're just gonna spread our flour out. Make sure that your counter is nice and clean. I just cleaned my counter. I don't have a cutting board that is big enough for these cinnamon rolls. So that's the reason I'm using my counter. And I just went ahead and sprayed it with some of my favorite cleaner and just got my cutting board or my counter nice and clean. All right, let's get the rest of this dough. So I'm gonna flip it over at least once, make sure my flour is nice and distributed. We've got our rolling pin. I like a French rolling pin. You do whatever kind of rolling pin you like to use. We want to get this into a rectangle, as close as you can to a rectangle. And I'm getting flour on my floor, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. I think I need to move my mixer just a little bit more. I want to have this into a nice big rectangle. All right, I think we've got it good. I'm gonna scoop a little of this flour off of here. Okay, so now we need to put down our butter, and it calls for 6 tablespoons. I'm just gonna eyeball it, friends. I'm probably gonna use the full 8, and it's fine. Take my ring off real quick. And I like to just use my fingers. Some people like to use a brush. Some people like to melt it. I can remember my grandmother from back when I was a kid. She always used her hands to spread the butter onto her dough. She just liked the feeling of it and being able to feel that she has a good layer of butter. And let's face it, your hands are the best tools when you're cooking and baking and doing all the things in the kitchen. Your hands are the best tools. As long as your hands are nice and clean, that's all that matters. We just want to get this nice and distributed. Make sure that you get all the way out to the edges. These cinnamon rolls are going to go rise for about an hour until they are nice and fluffy and doubled in size. Okay, I think that's probably smeared pretty good. I'm going to wash my hands real fast. Now we want about a half a cup of brown sugar. And this is another thing where I am going to just sprinkle it, and then I'm going to use my hand to distribute it. I like to be able to feel it, know that I have a good mix. I have a couple of clumps of hard. I don't want those. Okay, let's see here we are with this, how we look. Make sure you get that brown sugar out all the way to the edge, because we want delicious flavor in every single bite of cinnamon roll. And I think I'm going to need just a tad bit more sugar. Just grab some with my hand. This takes me back to my Grammy's kitchen. My Grammy made cinnamon rolls all the time. I loved making cinnamon rolls with her. I think the guys are going to be super excited to have these tomorrow morning on the way to the coast. I am so excited for them to get to go on this trip. This is, as I said in the beginning, this is my husband's first big fishing trip. He never used to really fish, and he's just now getting into it. There's some great guys at our church that are amazing fishermen. And so they've kind of taken him under their wing and they are teaching him all the things about fishing, and he is loving it. So I'm excited. We are praying for safety for all of them, but we're also praying for a good catch. All right, so we want to start on the long end, and we're going to roll this up, and you want to get these nice and tight. If you don't have your roll tight when you roll this up, you're going to wind up with a gap in your cinnamon rolls, and nobody wants that. We want these nice and tight. And I think this actually is going to make 2 pans, which is fantastic because there are 20 guys going on this trip. And this way, between the 2 pans of cinnamon rolls and the scones that we're going to make shortly, they're going to have plenty of delicious things to eat on the way over. Okay, so I just take this. You want to pinch your seam together to make sure that you don't end up having it blow apart. So you want to pull it nice and tight all the way over. Just get the seam of it nice and tight. Okay, that is a pretty good size roll of cinnamon rolls. Okay, I am using a foil pan to bake these because I don't want the guys to have to worry about bringing a pan back. I don't want a glass pan in the van. So we're gonna just send this in a foil pan for them. Let's make sure our seams are nice and tight, nice and pinched, so nothing's coming apart. These look great. My favorite way to cut cinnamon rolls is with a bench scraper. So we're gonna cut this in half. Okay, maybe this, I think this is just gonna make 12 cinnamon rolls, which is fine. Okay, there's 6. Let's get our pan. Let's get this other one split. The other reason I like using a bench scraper to cut cinnamon rolls is I like to use my bench scraper to clean off my counter when I'm done. All right, so there is our 12 cinnamon rolls. We're gonna cover these, let these rise over here on the stove. I have my oven on to 350, which is what they're gonna bake at. And these are just gonna let the residual heat from the oven help them to rise. All right, friends, our cinnamon rolls are beautiful. This is amazing. Look at these things. These are going in the oven, 350. They're gonna bake for about 20-25 minutes. They're gonna come out golden brown. We're gonna let them completely cool, and then we're gonna put on our cream cheese frosting so they'll be ready for the guys' trip tomorrow. We need to get our scones made because those have got to bake, and I need to get all this stuff done because, friends, I need to get this kitchen cleaned up and I need to get some organization going on in here because I have a ton of things to get done before we leave for camping. I have a lot of packing to do, a lot of meal things to get ready. So let's get these in the oven. All right, friends, let's get these strawberry scones ready so we can get these in the oven. I'm actually gonna make a double batch, but I'm only gonna show you the one batch. It only makes 8, and there's about 20 guys going. So since I've got cinnamon rolls, I think I'm gonna do a double batch of scones just to make sure they've got plenty. So let's get these done real quick. So in my bowl, I'm gonna do 2 cups of all-purpose flour. Scones are super, super simple. I used to be very intimidated by scones, and I'm not anymore. So we need to put in our 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Scones literally have minimal ingredients, which is really, really nice. Makes them super easy to make. We need 3 tablespoons of granulated sugar. And yes, friends, I need to refill my sugar bin, but I'll do it in a minute. And then we need 6 tablespoons of cold butter. And we're going to cut this into our flour mixture. Give myself a little bit more room. I need to cut this butter up real quick. So I'm going to cut off 2 tablespoons and just set that aside, and I'll wrap it back in this paper in a minute. You want to handle the butter as little as possible. My knife wants to stick a little bit, but you just don't want to touch it too much because you want your butter to stay nice and cold. You can, and if I had thought about this, I probably would have done it. You can grate your butter into your scones. It makes it a little bit easier to mix in. But I've already started cutting this one, so I may do that for the second batch. But you want this cut into some pretty small pieces. I see now why people like to grate their butter. It is such a pain trying to cut it because it wants to stick to the knife. My pastry blender has seen better days, but we're going to use it. So we just need to cut our butter into our flour, sugar, baking powder. Get this cut in. We want nice chunks of butter all the way through the flour. Then we're going to toss our strawberries into our flour mixture and toss them real well. And then we've got 3/4 cup of half and half to add, and that's it, friends. That's all that goes into these scones. Super easy, super quick. They're really, really delicious. And then after they completely cool, we're going to put a little bit of a powdered sugar glaze on them just to make them pretty. And I have some freeze-dried strawberries, and I think that I may crush up a couple of those and sprinkle them on top just to put a little bit of a fun little color on top of our glaze, but I'll see when I get to that point in a little bit. I definitely like grating the butter better. It definitely goes together a lot faster, a lot less. You probably could do this step in the food processor, but I already have a sink full of dishes, and the last thing I want to do is dirty up my food processor. I've got a bunch of dishes to wash and a bunch of stuff to get done before we leave on vacation next week. Okay, so there's our butter. So I've got 12 strawberries that I diced up. We're just going to get these tossed in this flour. I'm going to just use a fork to mix this around, get those strawberries tossed with our flour and butter, just like that. And then I've got 3/4 cup of half and half. We're going to put this in. You want to make sure that you don't over mix these too. So we're going to be really, really gentle with our folding of our half and half into our flour mixture, making sure that we're not, 1, over mixing, 2, we're not mashing our strawberries, because that would just be devastating to do that. But we want to make sure we get everything mixed in. Make sure we get all of that flour, the dry flour, off the bottom. But we don't want to overmix these. Okay. I'm going to use my paper towel to kind of dry this a little bit. We need to get a little bit of flour on our board because we're going to pat these out into a circle. So you can cut these into any shape that you want. You can cut these into rectangles, you can cut these into pie shapes, whatever you feel. Okay, I'm gonna grab a rubber spatula. My oven is now preheated. Okay, I'm gonna just kind of scoop from the bottom, make sure that we've got all of our, we've got a bunch of dry flour on the bottom down here that we need to get mixed in without over mixing. Okay, let's get this onto our board and get it shaped. This is a heavy bowl. And I'm just going to keep my bowl because, as I said, I'm making another batch of these. And I want to bring these together. Because like I said, I should have some flour on my hands. I'm going to pack it down just a little bit. And I think I am going to cut these into rectangles, or not rectangles, but pie shapes. So I think I'm going to do that, that, just like that. So I'm going to use a spatula, I think, to pick these up. We're going to get these put on some parchment paper, and they're going to bake at 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. Rose. Rose. All right, there's our scones, 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. All right, friends, look at those. They smell incredible, friends. They look so good. They're perfect. All right, we're gonna let these completely cool. It's probably gonna take a couple of hours for that to happen. And then we're gonna put some cream cheese frosting on these, and then they're gonna set and they're gonna be ready to go early. And I do mean early in the morning with my husband for his fishing trip. All right, friends, our scones are done. They smell incredible. These are gonna be so good. I showed you our cinnamon rolls. These are ready to be frosted, but we need to get our glaze done for our scones first. So I'm trying to limit the dishes and I don't want to drag the mixer back out to make cream cheese frosting for these cinnamon rolls. So I'm just going to make them in a bowl, or make the frosting in a bowl. But I'm going to make the glaze first for the cinnamon rolls so I can make it in the same bowl, make it, and then I can just make my cream cheese filling or frosting that goes on our cinnamon rolls and only dirty up one bowl. Because, as I said, I have a lot to do, friends. Hubby should be home here in the next 15 minutes. We're gonna get our tent trailer pulled out so that we can get it set up tonight, because I need help setting it up. It's pretty, I mean, I could probably do it by myself, but I would rather not. So I'm gonna take advantage of Hubby being home and have him help me get it set up tonight. Then he needs to go to bed because he's getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning to catch the van over to the coast tomorrow to fish. So I need to get these things done. So I'm ready to help him get the trailer out when he gets home. So let's get these glazed. Let's get our frosting made for our cinnamon rolls and get on with the day. So here's our cinnamon rolls. I'm gonna make just a really easy glaze. Lemon goes with everything in these scones. These are strawberry, and so the lemon is gonna be perfect. So we are gonna just do some lemon juice and powdered sugar for a really light glaze on these. I don't want anything super heavy, super thick. The glaze on the cinnamon rolls is gonna be thick enough, and I want something a little bit lighter on the scones. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of powdered sugar in here. I've got 16 scones to glaze. This is a seedless lemon, so I don't need to worry about seeds. I rolled it just to get the juices going. Let's go ahead and get this squeezed into our powdered sugar. I love simple glazes like this. They're perfect for cookies. They're perfect for scones. They're perfect for, well, that wasn't good. Perfect for muffins, all those things. Let's get another half of this lemon. So it's taking a full lemon, and we'll adjust our powdered sugar if we need to. If I need to cut another lemon, I will. It's not a big deal. I'm stacking these in a foil pan so that they don't have to worry about bringing a pan back for me. And so I want to have these have a good several hours for the glaze to really set up on these before I pack them in that foil pan. And I think that is going to be, I think I'm going to have to make more glaze though. I don't think that's going to be enough to do all of them, but that's exactly what I want. Let's get a spoon. And we're just going to use our spoon, and we're just going to go over these. We're just going to use our spoon to just kind of put, not going to cover them all the way. I want still some of the scone to be exposed. But I do want it to have a little bit of that glaze on it. And I do think I'm going to have to make a little bit more. I was hoping that these were not going to be a really dry scone, and I think these are going to be nice and light and fluffy. I'm sure most of the guys are going to have a to-go cup of coffee with them in the morning, so this will go perfect with their coffee on the way to the coast. It's not really breakfast, it's just more of a sweet treat for them to have on the way over. Okay, it looks like I am going to make another batch of this glaze. So I'll need one more lemon and some more powdered sugar to glaze up the last 8 on this other pan. I'm tempted to eat one of these, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna be good, and I'm gonna save these for the guys. All right, so I have a packet of cream cheese. It's pretty soft, but I think I am gonna stick it in the microwave for just about 15 seconds, just to make sure that it's soft enough that I can whisk it. Here's our cinnamon rolls. Are these not beautiful, friends? Look how fluffy. They are so soft and so perfect. I am going to go ahead and cut these before I frost them, because I just want to make sure that when they go to pull these out in the morning that they're able to get them apart. Okay, here is our cream cheese. Got a little bit of butter. It was left over from, sorry about that, left over from one of our other recipes. I'm gonna put that in. Let's whisk that. I'm gonna put in just a little bit of vanilla. Just like that. And then the last thing we put in here is powdered sugar, just to make them all nice and sweet. And of course, I will taste this frosting just to make sure that we're good with our tart to sweet ratio, because cream cheese frosting is a little bit tart and you want it to have a little bit of sweetness from the powdered sugar. And I can tell I need a little more powdered sugar right now. Let's taste it. That is perfect, friends. As a perfect tangy to sweet ratio. It's not too sweet. I'm just going to use a rubber spatula. All right, friends, here is our cinnamon rolls, our strawberry scones. Friends, I'm tired. I'm gonna go sit down for just a few minutes before hubby gets home. These things are ready to go for them. I am so excited for these guys to go and enjoy this time together, fellowship together, and maybe catch some fish, catch some crab, something like that. I'm hoping my husband comes home with some stuff that will just make him so happy, make this trip so worth it. And I'm excited for all of them. So these are gonna set now. I need to let this glaze set up so I can put some saran wrap on them. The scones need to set up so the glaze is dry so I can put those into the foil pan and those will be ready. But thank you guys so much for joining me today as we did a couple of fun baking projects to get things ready for my husband to go on a fishing trip tomorrow morning. And stay tuned, friends, because we are going camping and I cannot wait to bring you guys along with me. We are leaving on Thursday morning. Thursday will be more of a travel vlog type of day for us. We're going to bring you guys along with us as we go down the Oregon coast, headed towards Nehalem Bay, which is up on the northern part of Oregon. We're going to go up there and camp for 6 days, and I'm excited to bring you guys along, let you see some of our favorite sites along the Oregon coast as we head down to the campground, and share some fun recipes with you guys over the few days that we're over there camping. When we cook, when we're camping, we cook, friends. We don't just do burgers and dogs, we cook. And so we've got some fun recipes for you guys to see, so don't miss those things. I'm not positive that we will do a live on Saturday. It depends on internet. I don't know what the internet's gonna be like up there. I'm not positive if we're gonna have a strong enough signal for me to do a live video, but if we are able to do one, I will post Saturday morning and let you guys know that we'll be doing a live video Saturday night from the campground. And so, friends, thank you guys again so much for joining me in my kitchen as we made 2 fun baking projects for my husband and for the guys that are going with him on the fishing trip tomorrow. If you guys have not yet, please hit that subscribe button up there, because I would not want you guys to miss all of the fun videos that are coming out over the next 2 weeks as we head out to go camping. We get ready to go camping, show you guys our tent trailer, show you our setup. I can't wait to show you my kitchen that I set up when we go camping. I have a full kitchen and I am in love with my kitchen. It is my favorite thing when we go camping. And so I can't wait to share that, guys, with you guys. So hit that subscribe button up there so you guys don't miss it. Hit that notification bell so you're notified every time we upload a video. And friends, we will talk to you guys in the comments. Have a great day and God bless.